whispers between walls. The first knock came at exactly 3:07 a.m. It echoed through the narrow hallway of Lowell House, soft but deliberate, as if someone as Knuckles remembered the shape of the door better than the living ever could. Sarah Whitmore, a night staff supervisor, froze behind the reception desk. She had worked at Harvard long enough to know the building's mood-sit size. Groans, but this was different. The air smelled faintly of cigar smoke. Sarah's eyes drifted toward the portrait hanging above the fireplace. Amy Lowell, the Pulitzer Prize-winning poet. Her painted gaze seemed unusually sharp tonight, lips slightly curved, as though she were listening. Staff whispered about this, about seeing a woman in old-fashioned clothes gliding past the stairwell, about the smell of hand-rolled cigars lingering long after midnight. Amy Lowell had never studied at Harvard, but she had loved the campus sand. Some believed, never truly left it. The knocks came again. Across the Atlantic, decades earlier, a small house in Enfield, England, trembled under forces no one could explain. Furniture slid on its own. Children spoke in voices that were not their own. Investigators argued endlessly. Hoax or haunting? Yet one detail was often overlooked. The voices spoke as if they carried memories that did not belong to that house, or even that country. One voice mentioned a poet who refused to rest. Back in Lowell House, Sarah wasn't alone anymore. A tall figure stood near the staircase, transparent, calm, familiar. Elliot Perkins, the beloved former master of Lowell House. Unlike Amy's restless presence, his spirit felt steady, almost protective. Students who claimed to see him said the same thing. He didn't scare them. He watched over them. But tonight, even Perkins seemed uneasy. "She's disturbed." His voice echoed gently, though his lips never moved. "Who?" Sarah whispered. "The words," he replied. "Someone keeps writing them." In the late 1960s, in Los Angeles, letters arrived at police stations and newspapers. They spoke of murder, of pleasure in killing, of promises to kill again. Some contained pieces of victims' clothing. The writer signed with a symbol, not a name. The Zodiac Killer. Investigators chased. Shadis Arthur Lee Allen, Robert Graysmith, Ted Bundy, but the truth dissolved every time they reached for it. What unsettled some detectives most were the letters themselves. Not the threats, but the language. It was poetic. Too poetic. That night, Sarah found a folded letter beneath Amy Lowell's portrait. The handwriting was uneven, frantic. Inside were verses that spoke of violence, guilt, and immortality. With a warning, words do not die. Neither do I. The smell of cigar smoke thickened. The walls creaked. Somewhere far away, or perhaps very close, a child's voice from Enfield laughed, distorted by time and distance. The dead were speaking to one another. By morning, the letter vanished. Lowell House returned to normal. The portrait was still. The air was clean. But the stories lived under a poet's ghost, a gentle guardian, a haunted house across the sea, and letters that refused to be silenced. Some mysteries, after all, are not meant to be solved. They are meant to be remembered.